Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm up in Glencoe today and we have some rain, so there's no better place to do landscape photography in the rain than Glencoe. And I'm hoping that the sun is going to break through. Every now and again you get a little shaft of light. As you can probably see there, the Three Sisters are shrouded in cloud. There's no chance of seeing the Anam Bain or anything like that, but the sun's off to the left, not that you would know it, but every now and again we get a little beam of light comes through, and that's what I'm hoping for today. So let's go. It looks like we've got some purple colours starting to appear in the heather, so that'll be nice if we get some light on that. And of course the great thing about the rain being on is it keeps the midges away. Right, we're up at the study and there's still no sign of any direct light, but my goodness, it does look moody, doesn't it? That's incredible. That's nice, isn't it? A nice foreground, leading line. Is there a shot there? Get down low. Yeah, I think there might be a photograph there, eh? Right, first image of the day coming up. Right, now I like this, the way the mist is just pouring over the edge of the ridge there. That looks very dramatic. Right, what do you think of this? I'm still waiting for any sort of promise of light, but I quite like this little ridge here where there are some trees, and so we're focused on that, but I've included two of the Three Sisters. I can never remember which one's which, been farther, but anyway, I've included two of the Three Sisters. This is the third one here, and focused on that, but I'm including these two mist covered mountains as background. And so that, coupled with the size of the trees in the frame, is I think is giving it a sense of scale. Now what I'm doing is I'm just praying that we get some direct light either here on the ridge or on the trees themselves, because I think that would look pretty spectacular. Problem is, there doesn't seem to be much sign of sun, but there is actually what looks like another rain shower coming in. So I may actually lose it all completely in the mist for a while. Anyway, right, I'm going to take this shot while the mist is looking a bit more dramatic on the first mountain, but we've lost the second now. Ooh, would you look at that? Well, very close to the study, there's the study there. But I found another little puddle in the bog. But this one has got that huge big boulder there, which is covered in lichen and moss. And we've still got the Three Sisters as a backdrop. So that looks like it might actually have a bit of potential. We still have the rain, we still have the cloud, all the other things that we're having to deal with. but I think that added bonus of the rock there, and it's a slightly larger puddle, and we've got these beautiful greens and a little hint of purple heather there as well. So there's quite a lot going on in the foreground, and then you've got those majestic mountains in the background. I think that's got potential for a shot. I just need to try and get wide enough to include the yellows and greens in this moss and that boulder, and not to mention the three sisters. It's not a lot to ask for, is it? Anyway, just for the record, if anybody's going to come and try and replicate this shot, wear willies, because I'm standing in the middle of a bog at the moment and I'm a lot more than ankle deep, so if I was here in walking boots I would be wet feet by now. It's good job I brought my wellies. Right, let's grab a shot. Yeah, this is the same scene with the 16mm lens on. It's a lot wider. I've got a lot closer to this yellow patch, and it's just all in, I think, a better composition. You've almost got a leading line formed by the puddle leading up to the rock, which is in itself kind of leading you off in this general direction where the mountains are. I like that composition, I quite like it. It's going to be yet another dark and moody one, still in colour probably, but dark and moody. And I'm maybe underexposed slightly. If you watch this when I'm underexposed slightly, you can make more of the mountains in the background there. So I'll probably take a couple of exposures and we'll blend them again. Right, I think we've got a wee lull in the rain at the moment, so let me show you what I've got in mind as an image. If you saw my last video, which was the one at Puck's Glen, there will be a link on the screen just now if you've not seen that. You might have noticed that I started to include more and more man-made things in the images. That's not something I normally do. So there was a lot of images where I was deliberately including stairs, for instance, or handrails or a path or things like that. What I've got in mind for this particular shot is this for the view. So I'm going to use this rock pavement here as a foreground, also including this boulder here which has got some beautiful heather around about it. And this here is, I believe, the old road, the original road that ran through Glencoe, the old military road. And that's kind of leading the eye up and then disappearing around the corner, and then you've got the fabulous Three Sisters. So I think I quite like that shot. Probably maybe something like that. Although I'm wanting to include some human element, I don't particularly want to include the study and stuff like that just now. So probably something like that. So you've got the ridge coming down here, the ridge coming down here, both meeting at this, which is a kind of leading line, and everything's pointing to that little window there on those two misty mountains. So I quite like that as a composition. Right, what's happened is the wind's changed direction, and that's just driving more rain at me now. So I'm kind of struggling to video. Basically I've got a nice composition set up. It's involving the old road still, but I've got a little bit tighter in. I've come down a little bit. I'm trying to make the use of some heather that I found, a patch of heather. I've still got the S-bend in the old road, and every now and again we get a little hint of the Three Sisters behind, but I'm really up against it with the weather. The weather is absolutely horrendous. So I'm going to put the camera away for a couple of minutes and wait to see if it blows itself out. I'm not hopeful. Right, this is essentially composition. I'm trying to keep the rain off the lens here, but essentially that's the composition. So you've got the road coming in at the bottom left here, snaking its way around the S-bend past the cairn to disappear off frame. And then in the background, excuse me, the Three Sisters, well, two of the Three Sisters. But as you can tell by how often I'm having to wipe the lens, the elements are not being my friend today. So, but essentially that's the shot. Probably a 16:9. Really just frame just below where the road comes in and just above the height of the mountains, and take it over. Possibly even a 2:1. But that's essentially the shot I'm going for. I'm just literally waiting for the rain to go off, and then I'll quickly grab it and then we'll move on. Right, the rain's eased to a torrent. it's still raining, but it's coming off a wee bit. It's all relative, isn't it, at the end of the day? So yeah, I've taken that shot with a horizontal, but then I realised that if I did a vertical crop just in here, so really tightened in on the start of that S-bend and then the next S-bend, and that allows you to make the mountains larger in the frame. It means that I can make a little bit more of, there's a little patch of heather there and a small patch there, so they're included in the image as well now. And yeah, it looks as though it might work as a vertical crop as well. Although, that said, I might actually make it a square crop and just really from about there to there to there to about there, and just really tighten in on that, because that's where all the interest is for me. Right, I can see we've got another rain shower coming in, so I'm going to quickly pack up, grab another shot or two, and maybe a couple of backup shots. I would have liked to have done something with the heather here. There's some beautiful purple heather right here, but that's because it's so close and because it's quite windy, that's moving around too much, and it's almost impossible for me to freeze that in the frame. I have just noticed there's some heather dish down here though, which it is moving, but it's not moving as much, so I might be able to go down and make something of that, plus the couple of ferns down there as well. I might use them as foreground, but for now this is the image, square crop. If it's worked, it's on the screen just now. Right, rain's come in again, right enough. I've come down a little bit further, and what that's allowing me to do is to include this heather and these ferns as a kind of foreground. Still got the snaking S-bend in the old road, and still got the mountains beyond. So it's an alternative to the one that I was shooting earlier, but the rain's on, so I'm going to give it a couple of minutes, see what happens. But I like that as well, actually. I quite like that, the colour contrast between the lovely green and the fern and that deep purple in the heather. So I quite like that as a colour contrast, and that might well work well with the path and the misty mountains beyond. Right, what do you make of this shot? Same idea really. I'm using this clump of heather in the foreground. Little patch of green there with those leaves, which is kind of catching the eye. We've got the stone here, the S-bend of the old road leading the eye round, and then the two of the three sisters, well I guess three of the three sisters because you can see one of them here as well, the three sisters just coming out of the mist. I've managed to find a little bit of shelter. I'm behind a big rock at the moment, so that's keeping the worst of the drizzle off me, so I can take a wee bit more time with this particular shot. But yeah, quite like that. You've got, as before, the leading line here of the road coming in, snaking its way around and then back out again. You got the ridge here, all leading the eye down, and then some lovely texture in the clouds and the mist over two of the three sisters. So again, I quite like that. It's a nice shot. So I made it back to the car. The rain didn't go off. If anything, I think I angered it by asking it to go off. So it got worse. But I've made it back. Didn't fall in the river crossing over, and I'm back in the safety of the car. I'm going to have a quick bite to eat and a cup of tea, and then I'm going to head back down the road. So hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know below which was your favourite image, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, bye.